Hi, this is Jeff Stevens from oregonplex. Thanks so much for checking out this video. This is the April 2026 234 unit property market report for Redmond, Oregon. And I specialize in helping people only with duplex, triplex, fourplex properties because that's what my portfolio is built on. I am an investor first and foremost, an agent secondly, and I bring that expertise to work with clients. And so I'm happy to share this data that I've put together myself, compiled from the general market data, but just for two, three, and four unit properties. And let's have a look at what's going on in Redmond. Redmond is a bit, in terms of overall numbers, kind of like the east side of Bend. A fair amount of data, and so we have good averages and things like that. It's not huge markets, but compared to other parts of Central Oregon, where the data set is very small, Redmond's got a more meaningful number of properties in this category, so we can have a good look at what's going on with these numbers. So I wanted to share with you some of the things that I thought were the interesting highlights and key takeaways for you. So here in April, we have five of these properties that are currently active. That's down a little bit from seven last time, just a month ago, and down a little bit from 10 before as well. But we do see there's a couple new ones in the last 30 days, which is good. That looks like two in the last 30 days is a pretty average result here for the Redmond market. So in terms of a price per square foot and price per unit, I think those are always things that are interesting to look at. And also, incidentally, another key stat that I think is important to look at, but a little bit more custom and individualized to create is gross rent multiplier, GRM, which looks at the gross rents per year and divides that into the price for the property so that you then have a sense of basically the ratio of rents to price, just like the price per square foot shows you the ratio of size to price. At any rate, I digress. I get excited about these things. Our average price per unit is 281,000. Now, that is down. That's the first number in this report in the 200s that we've had here. At least what's showing on this report, maybe in previous versions that are not showing on this report, but 325 last time, 327 before that, 340. So those numbers were all pretty much in line with each other. But this 281 is definitely a little bit lower. The price per square foot is 320. That's very similar to last time and sort of in the same general ballpark as the times before that as well. Average days on market is only 56, which is, I say only because in certain in certain markets that would seem like, or certain time spans of markets, say 2021, 2022, that would probably seem like a giant number. But compared to, 148 last August, for crying out loud, June 95, even 72 last time, 56 feels like a very reasonable number. And we'll compare that to the numbers for sold ones here in just a second. Currently pending, we have two that are currently pending. And that's great. Last time we didn't have any actually. And we've had, somewhere between two and five in these previous reports, but we have two pending right now. Why do I say that's great? Because what we want to see is people putting properties on the market at reasonable prices that do attract buyers that then go pending and then sell and close. And we want to see that because that's basically the definition of the system working. We don't want to see a whole bunch of properties come on the market, almost nothing go pending. Everybody's just sort of floating properties out there and not expecting them to sell. But on that note, I do always like to look at the expired, withdrawn, or canceled listings because to me, that does indicate a little bit who's sort of just floating a property out there, going on a fishing expedition to see if they can just find somebody to buy their property. They don't really care if they do sell it. It's not a sincere effort in earnest. And in the last 180 days, there have been 15 of those. Now, 180 days is a long time, and that's why we make it a long time so that we can see for sure like a bigger data set there. But 15 is quite a bit, especially compared to 11 last time we calculated that number, and then six in the years or the months prior to that in mid to late 2025. So That is interesting as well, that 15 have gone with withdrawn, expired, or canceled. Some form of it's not on the market and it's not because it's sold. And so lastly, we'll have a look at the closed transactions. So there were seven that closed in the last 180 days. That too is great for the same reasons I mentioned. We want to see properties getting closed because we can see that the whole system is functioning as a whole. Transactions are coming full circle. Average price per unit was 264,000, which is just a little bit down from 274 and 277, 280, but in the same, general stratosphere. So I like to see that. To me, like that's a nice consistent through line for what a price per unit and a Redmond Plex tends to look like. Average price per square foot was 234,000 or not thousand, $234, a little bit down from 253 before, but up from 215 and 213. So again, a little variation in these numbers because again, there's not like there's thousands of data points. There's seven in this case or 11 last time, but we can see this sort of low to mid 200s is a reasonable price per square foot for these properties at this point. And average days on market is 54. And I think that that's a great number. If we look back to 56 here, 50 versus 56, I hope that most of these properties that are active currently are priced and marketed in a way such that they'll go pending soon, because it'd be great to keep that number in this 50s kind of range. Last time it was a very quick, almost a curiously quick 24 days before these properties went pending and eventually sold. But before that, it was much higher numbers, which is kind of generally what we would expect at this moment in time economically and market cycle overall. 93, 80, big numbers. Other markets, it's easy to see three digits. So it's nice, and try to clean up my mess here. It's nice and encouraging to see that properties priced correctly in Redmond are selling. We have seven of them who have done so at reasonable prices per square foot and reasonable prices per unit and got it done within a couple months. And I think that is a great thing. So that's what's happening in Redmond right now with 2, 3, and 4 unit properties. Again, if you would like any help with one that you already own, if you would like to brainstorm around buying something like this, I'm a big fan of that. Like I said, this is what I've built my own portfolio on. I've got dozens of these types of units myself and would love to chat with you. So please like the video, subscribe to the channel, reach out if you'd like to discuss these things, and I'd be happy to chat with you. Thanks so much. I'll see you in the next video.